It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Thank you, Mr. Irvin. I suppose a great day if you're blind and deaf and a Habs fan, because I don't know if you wanted to watch that game today. I wouldn't have described it as great. Hey, look, third game in 4 nights, right? The scheduling gods were against the Habs here. Let's, a team that's on a heater like Colorado, fourth night on the Western Road swing, third game in the friggin' middle of the day, 2 days in a row, in the altitude. Did we really expect anything different? I wish I had a keg tonight, but we'll have to settle for a beer. I don't know. That first period, they started out. I thought they started out fine, and that goal interference, the phantom interference call on Anderson. Well, like Garrett Rank, I can understand a referee having a bad night, but this is the third game now in a row that I don't know. It's like I almost think like he doesn't like the Canadiens or something. Like he says, "Oh well, it's a goal because the Canadian player knocked the puck off the post or the net off the post." Well, that's not what the issue was. It was that Landeskog clearly skated right, like it looked like Kreider on friggin' Price almost, like wiped him out with his friggin' skate, which Anderson had nothing to do with. And, it should have been called interference in the first place. And then Colorado challenges a goal, and then fine. If you turn it over, you turn it over. But to not call that interference, say, oh, well, no, blah, 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 and then Montreal has to challenge it, and they don't go their way, and then it's a penalty too. That turned the momentum of the game right there. I'm sorry. I know Colorado was still going to win, but let's not jump off the cliff here. It's one game. It was the third game in 4 days. It's against Colorado in the altitude. They got that bogus call after really coming out strong. So I'm not going to rag on them that bad and say, oh no, they're not good enough. They're still good enough to win the East. I really believe that. Struble not being out, I think, hurt. There were a lot of, so let's not get too crazy on the live chat comments tonight, and keep in perspective that it's one game and all the circumstances behind it. I am joined by Liam Maguire and Rick Springhetti tonight. Liam, good to see you, my friend. Been a while since you were on a post game. World's foremost hockey trivia expert and hockey historian, and of course my buddy Rick, who is my chief scout with Recruits HabsCast. How are you tonight, gentlemen?
Good.
Great.
Excellent. Liam, what do you think of my intro there?
Yeah, don't really disagree with anything there, Grant. 3 games, 4 days, altitude, and all the rest. That first power play where Blackwood kicked out BB's, it was a really, really good-looking power play. They come down. Sheriff hits Carrier's skate, takes a tumble. Nelson's all alone, scores. Second goal should never count it. That's just baffling. The entire league, anyone who follows hockey, no one knows what goalie interference is. You could see Landeskog putting his leg under Josh. Like, it's right there.
Yeah.
How do you friggin' miss that? And then secondly, then they change the goal and it goes to Landeskog, which means so you're saying, okay, it went off him. He's going right into the friggin' crease, into Dobie. So absolutely mystifying call there. And it took a little wind out of the sails, but it really was a question of Avalanche opportunistic coming back. We had a few mistakes as the game went on, but we played, and just couldn't score on some grade A chances. It could have made a bit of a difference early, but it had a little bit of a Washington feel to it in terms of the 8-4 loss there just a week or so ago. But other than that, guys, The better team won, but we've had a great start to the season, including right now at the end of November. And we lost to a team with one regulation loss. They're ahead of the 77 Habs, for God's sake, at this pace. And it's still a lot, and big, huge game Tuesday against Ottawa. So looking forward to it. Rick?
Yeah. Well, yeah. What do you think, Rick?
Well, I was going to bring up the altitude. I thought it was a clever point, but yeah, that really hurt. And they played a lot of games in a row. And let's not forget too, Montreal are dealing with a little bit of an injury situation, which affects the depth. And the depth really hampered Marty St. Louis' ability to coach this game because some guys were struggling, and it was very obvious who they were. But you really didn't have a lot of options to cut the bench a little bit and play other guys that could keep up with the pace of the Colorado Avalanche. And I think in that sense, Marty St. Louis was a little bit handcuffed. He would have liked, I think, to give a bit less ice time to a few players because the ones that were keeping up, the Suzuki line and the Kapanen line was excellent tonight, in my opinion. We talk about Kapanen's intelligence, and he did exactly what you needed to do against Colorado at that high altitude. He keeps his shift so short that he never tires out. Mental mistakes don't happen. And he was able to keep up with the pace of Colorado. And, Suzuki's line also being as good as they are, although I did not like Bolduc's game without the puck, and we could talk about that a little later. But after that, it was, Doc and especially Newhook and a few other guys Struble would have been able to keep up with the pace a lot better than, the Andersons and the Gallaghers and the Texiers, who really had a lot of trouble in that end of the ice.
Yeah, Texier, I don't know. I think we saw why he was put on waivers by the Blues tonight. He'd be good in the ice capades, I think, but I'm not sure that he's an NHL player right now. And I'd call up Sammy Blais and play him instead of in a bottom six role. He's a top six type player, AHL player, I think, but he's not good enough to be top six in the NHL. And I don't think he's a bottom six guy in the NHL. So he's a tweener, I think, and picked up for depth or whatever. But I'm not overly impressed with Texier. Gallagher. We gotta talk about Gallagher. I made it my thumbnail. I've been defending him. I love Gally. I wish he would retire a Hab. Maybe he will, but geez, right now, I think they have to, at the very least, start to consider sitting him in back-to-backs. That as a start, at least. I know it's tough with a veteran like that. He's got tenure like almost triple anybody else on the team. That's tough. But Liam, you know better than anybody. Like in the past, even like you can name some guys, I'm sure, that were longtime vets on the Canadiens that, when things started to go downhill, they sat out, they got traded, what have you. What do you think the Canadiens should be doing with Gallagher now?
Well, I love the suggestion you just made. I think that's a great one. Sitting in back-to-backs, or at least maybe doing something to augment him playing a full schedule right now. He seems to be man, you can't second guess his hustle. He just absolutely can still drive in there on the forecheck, but he gets the puck. He doesn't really have any ability anymore to what little that he did have at different times. Look, the guy scored over 200 goals. He's going to, in 13 or 14 games, he's going to move into the top 15. He's going to pass Steve Shutt for games played on the Habs, and he's going to finish, if he plays the rest of the season, almost in the top 10 or 11 in games played. That's all commendable. But for a team that wants to, make the next step and hopefully make the playoffs and then get there, make some noise, I don't know what value he's going to bring. You want the vets, you're going to need them. Maybe he's a guy that's more suited for a playoff style right now, but right now I think you need you've got to again, you don't want to overreact too much. You're just 1-3 to right the ship. Points in 4 out of the last 5 sandwiched around that Washington debacle. And you have a bad one tonight. You don't want to overreact, but I don't think it's overreacting to say that Galley, despite the early apples there, bunch of assists the first few games, kind of maybe hid a little bit of where the overall picture is with him. And I think we've seen it more in the last 12, 13 games. And something needs to be considered there for sure. Texier as well. I mean, his first 2 shifts yesterday were horrendous. Absolutely horrible. I'm glad he got the assist. He made a nice play there. Saw it tonight, 1 or 2, but yeah, he's definitely Sammy Blais. I was elated that they got him back. He's a type of guy. I'd love to see him get some more games in the show, man. And he didn't look bad for Toronto. Well, he had 5 points in 8 games or something, 4 points. I mean, scored. I'd have the guy back in the lineup. And but yeah, Galley is, and I love him. Who doesn't? Who doesn't want to pay him all the respect in the world? But Montreal's got to consider these things here. Throw it over to Rick for his thoughts, but they got to consider these things going forward here, how they want to maintain up there in the standings and get ready to hopefully make the next step here. I think they're on pace for about 100 points right now. I believe it's 99 or 100, which would mark the 5th straight year of improvement. The NHL record's 8 by San Jose, and not to say they'll get there necessarily. Who knows? Who knows even this year? But that's where they're projected right now, which is awesome. Who wouldn't have taken that on November 29th, the 101st anniversary of the opening of the Montreal Forum? Who wouldn't have taken this record?
Who doesn't know that? Who doesn't know that, right? You're stating what everybody knows, Liam. I mean, everybody knows.
Master in the obvious. That's me.
Yeah. Rick?
Liam said it best about Galley and all the great things about him. For me, it was also worse than that was without the puck. He's behind the play. He can't catch up ever. So basically, unfortunately, when the opponent breaks out, you're basically shorthanded. I hate putting it that way because it sounds insulting, but it's not meant to be. It's just that he can't catch up enough, and he's his stops and starts are more labored than they used to be, and he was never a great skater. But it's even more difficult now. So he's tried to catch up, and then when he does try to catch up, sometimes he almost gets in the way because he's really scrambling at some point. And yeah, maybe it's the suggestion of back-to-back games is a good one, but I think more than that is maybe the opponent, right? Those high octane, quick strike teams is the biggest problem. More than you can maybe play back-to-back against teams that are not as quick than others because of that, and his experience does maybe help him a little bit, but you really got to be careful for his opponent. And again, that was the example of saying that this is the kind of game where Gallagher really had to have his minutes managed carefully. But they're on the road too, right? So you don't have that. You don't even have that option to have the second line change and try to adapt. So yeah, I think there's going to be a point coming up pretty soon where Gallagher is going to have to start missing games here and there and accept it. And hopefully, after years of being on a team that struggled, seeing them come back as an organization will maybe make it more acceptable for him because it's a different type of team now. And I know, but I don't know the gentleman. As for Texier and Blais, that might be a good idea. One thing too about Texier is I think he had his best seasons in Columbus when Pascal Vincent was the assistant coach, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it would be a good idea to have Texier go to Laval and play under Pascal Vincent for 20, 25 games and try to figure out how can you change who you are as a player to make it back to the NHL, right? They did it with Alex Newhook. Started out really well. And maybe that's what he has to do to come back to the NHL, is to go back, play under a coach that he really believes in, and a coach that believes in him, and make some changes to his game and make some adjustments. And maybe there's a spot for it because he hasn't played center much, but he has played center in the past. He can play both wings. Again, we talked about that. That's the kind of 13 and 14 forward you want to have a little bit of flexibility to use them according to your team needs.
Yeah. Well, you're being kind to him. I wouldn't mind if he got like Joel Bouchard was coaching him right now, just as long as it was in the AHL, But no, I mean, I would flip him or try to send him down and bring up Sammy Blais. I thought Sammy Blais was decent in the preseason too, Liam. Like you were saying that he was okay. Like I was surprised that he got put on waivers in the first place. I liked it, especially liked his last game, which was the full squad, and I think that's one of the reasons why Toronto claimed him, because they said, "Ooh, he looked okay in that, that last game. Let's take a chance on him." And then, he brings some size and some grit. And in the bottom six, I don't think Texier is what they need. They need more sandpaper. And Sammy Blais over Texier, or even Gallagher. The odd night, right? If Sammy comes up and he's 13th forward or 14th, and him and Veleno sort of when injuries get better, but the odd night when they're playing a tough opponent, until the injuries come back and Sammy Blais the extra forward, have him come in, especially on the back-to-back nights for Galley, because he just did not have any his legs. Did you see him on the change with, I don't know if it was the last goal, it might have been, but he came on for the change and he couldn't get close to catching up to the guy, and it wasn't pretty. And I just wonder, I mean, hey, Steve Shutt got traded when he started to lose it, right, Liam? And Serge Savard went to Winnipeg, and Guy Lapointe went to St. Louis, and then Boston, or Boston, St. Louis. I forget what the order was. I mean, if they can get traded late in their careers, but $6.5 million, like it had to be the type of thing where you'd almost like let's say they were going after Stamkos or someone like that, right? And you have to give back salary to offset it. Like, do you think like it would make any sense? I know it's hard to trade the guy that's the only like there's no one close to him in tenure, and it's tough in that regard. But like if you had to unload salary to get a Stamkos to make it make it more even for Nashville, would something like that make sense?
Probably makes sense from Montreal perspective. I don't know.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
No, I mean you'd have to give a lot more than, because you're giving Gallagher, you'd have to, there'd be other pieces obviously, but
yeah, Grant, you talked about, let's say Montreal were thinking about acquiring a Steven Stamkos, and you'd have to give the contract of Gallagher back. But Stamkos himself was let go in a way by Tampa Bay. They didn't re-sign him, and boy, they won cups with him. I think he was their captain for a while. I mean,
that's a good point. Yeah,
being a GM means you make hard decisions, and it hurts sometimes, and you gotta kind of have to do it. And this is at the point now where this could be the time to do it.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. With Stamkos even lot more decorated than Gallagher, and so yeah, I mean, Gretzky got traded, right? So
that's the benchmark.
That's sold, actually.
That's always the answer, right?
The trade, but it was really a sale. Yeah.
True. He got sold.
Well, bodies did get exchanged, so I guess it's a trade for. But there was a lot of money.
Yeah. Let's have a quick look at the stats. I don't know if we should, but Adam Engstrom was even tonight. Kapanen even, Demidov even. Like I guess that's the high point, right? There were no pluses, but kudos to those three. It's the rookies it's the young guns that ended up only ones that weren't a minus on the night. Carrier, another -3. Alex has his last 10 or so haven't been as good as his first 10. That's fair to say. Who played predominantly with Lane tonight? I didn't really pay attention to that.
They were
Like,
changing it up quite a bit, to be honest with you, because they were trying not to give Engstrom too much ice time. So I
yeah,
saw him often with Carrier and a few times with Jacky, but it was really a 5D that they were using more than anything else. I think
Yeah,
at one point even he did a few shifts with Dobson when they for some reason, but it was a lot of they were really managing as much as they could Engstrom's minutes because he wasn't awful with the puck. But I think it was a game that was maybe a little bit over his head for now. And
well,
doesn't mean he's not an NHL player yet. It's only a second game against an incredible team. But tonight's game was a little bit. Board battles were hard for him to win. He's never a big guy, but he really struggled along the boards and in the corners to win puck possession. And
yeah,
some of his passes were okay, but I think two of them were pretty rough breakout passes that were intercepted at the blue line and no damage really. But I think the second time they were hemmed in their zone for a good 40 seconds before they managed to get it out. So tough game for Engstrom. But Grant, we talked about it in the past. Uh, when you're retooling or rebuilding a team, you give opportunities to youngsters because it doesn't matter. So you could do that. When you start becoming a good team, then it becomes more difficult to bring in those youngsters. And if this was 2 years ago, Ekstrom would have probably played 16, 17 minutes without too much of a problem, and he would have had a regular shift. Montreal can't do that right now in their situation. So bringing up Ekstrom is a little bit difficult. I think they would have preferred to do it against another team. I think Struble would have played tonight if he was healthy, but he wasn't. And the speed was getting to him a little bit. And again, the high altitude, he's not used to it. I don't think he's ever played in high altitude, maybe. I don't know. But I think Ekstrom did some nice things, but it was not an easy game for him, and that's acceptable. It's
yeah.
quite okay for a second game.
Well, the mountains of Stockholm there. I'm sure you know. Let me think. No, I guess they're more like fjords, I guess, around there. But he played actually 10 minutes. I was surprised to see that stat.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like he played that much, but
Right.
both games that he's played, I noticed that he got paired with Hudson a few times, which is
Yeah.
interesting. I don't know if they were wondering if that could be a pairing at some point, but I think you need to play a physical.
Yeah.
A defenseman with some physicality with Hudson, and that's why they've been putting Struble with him for the most part, I think. But yeah, I agree with those points on Engstrom, and I think too, you don't want to completely ruin his confidence. I mean, you look the way that, especially by the midway point of the second period, you're thinking, oh boy, we better not throw this kid to the wolves. He may never. He might shatter his confidence altogether there. So, what did you think of Doby's game tonight, Liam?
Oh, he had a tough night. I don't think he had a chance on the majority of those goals. To be honest, there's a couple, I'm sure, like most goaltenders who lose, would like to have a few back. I think out of all seven, the most frustrating one was the 2-on-0 that they don't score on, and the play stays down low, and they work it around. He gets a can of corn. That was Nelson's, I guess, second after they gave the other one to Landeskog, right? So it just that I was really frustrated with that one just as a fan. It just irked me that you managed to curtail that opportunity on the turnover. I think it was by Matheson at their blue line, created it. No one's backing up. No one backed them up on that 2-on-1 either.
Right.
You got to go. I know you're pushing for goals, but I mean, anyways, I'm digressing. But I thought Doby had didn't have a great game, but geez, he made some outstanding saves. Still on top of that, he's a battler, but I had a suspicion he was going to be in tough today. Colorado's coming off a loss as well, even though it was in extra time. They were riding, I think, a 10-game winning streak, right? So they took a little blip there. You knew they were going to be tough, and yet we came out and had the start we did, and I thought Doby looked pretty good. But those first two goals, and then it just looked like whatever mojo we had at the start dissipated really quickly. I think he went along with it. Could you have pulled him after two, throwing Monty in? I mean, you could, but to what end? I think at that point, ride it out. Monty will start probably Tuesday, and they'll go that way and hope they can find a hot hand here and stay in the mix in this crazy Atlantic. I mean, it's crazy. So I didn't think he had a great game, Grant, but I certainly don't blame him on every goal. That's for sure.
No. Chris Hansen is mentioning about like as played 3 and 4, same schedule. They didn't look gassed. Well, it's fair enough, but it's not the same schedule. They didn't travel from the east to out west and go boom, boom, and then back to back like Montreal, like 3 days and 4. There's a difference, and they safe to say they're a little more used to the altitude than Montreal. So there were, you can't.
Well, and they're a cup threat. They're a better team. They probably handle 3 and 4 a little bit better than Montreal's right now, which is the youngest in the league. But I think it's a little bit more problematic for Montreal as they're zipping across the lower western states there. But whatever.
And I mean, Montreal has been beset by injuries pretty badly here too. I think having Struble out tonight really hurt as well.
Yeah,
I think he would have been good to have in the lineup against. You had him and Hudson playing pretty well together. And then that gets upset. Gooley's out, all the guys up front. Even with a full squad, and not having played your third game in 4 nights and back to back, they're in tough against Colorado, no doubt. But I think it would have been, if it would have been the first game of a road trip, those guys were playing. Garrett Rank isn't the official, maybe it ends up being a closer game at least, right? So I'm not, it's one game. Yes, right now, you can say, well, Montreal is not going to beat Colorado in the Cup final, but I still think, this group, it's important for them, and why I think they need to pick up a couple players and go for it at least in the East. I think it's just so important for this young group to do better than they did last year and to win more than one playoff game and hopefully at least win one playoff series and maybe 2. So, the people that will say, well, look, they couldn't beat Colorado, so why get a player? Why try to improve when they're not going to win the Cup anyway? I still say that for the youngest team in the NHL, I think for their future development and their winning culture, I think it's important for them to try to win a round or 2 or 3 and get to, ideally in an Eastern Conference that I think is wide open this year, and there being 4 points difference between Montreal and the top team, they could win the East. So why not go for it? What do you think, Rick?
I'm not a big fan of getting a rental player if that's the option. Not to give up too much to get a rental player, I should say. Give me a 3rd round pick for a rental player. I could live with that. I think it could be worth it. I wouldn't give like a 2nd round pick and a good prospect for a few months of a player. I just don't like that idea unless you're like a bona fide, high end Stanley Cup contender, like top. But there's talks of O'Reilly, there's talks of Kadri, guys like that. Well, they're signed for a few years. So I think I'm perfectly fine with those kind of players. Get them, they stake around for a few years, give a chance to other youngsters to come up, because the importance of getting a left wing center is one of the things we've talked about, is that there's nobody in the system that's going to be ready anytime soon. That's a left-handed center in the organization. They have nobody. Zarovsky, even Papenicus. Sorry, I was having trouble with his name. They're all righties. So you're gonna have to go out, and find them somewhere. So you get one of those guys, and for a good price or for a reasonable price, what their value is, I could live with that. But yeah, I would like them to see them, advance. And the great thing is that they have assets that you can trade to get a player for a few years, and that's acceptable to me, and that would be actually great. I'd love to see that. Somebody who could fluctuate between the 2nd and the 3rd line depending on the opponent, right? Kapanen's done a great, very good job for a young guy, and he could handle a lot of minutes. Once in a while, because it's a lefty, he plays a little bit less. But somebody who could play in the top 9 as a center who's a lefty would be great because you could take those important face-offs. Certain matchups would be important. That's what I think the Habs should be looking at. And again, not for 3 or 4 months at the end of the year, but for a year or 2 years after this.
Well, Liam, I know you got to get rolling. You're going to a hockey game, so if you want to comment on that, we'll let you go after that.
Yeah, I guess just projecting forward here for me, successful season, more points than last year, playoff spot for sure, and hopefully a deep first series. I could handle a first round loss if it's 6 or 7 games. It's all depending on how the games are played. Obviously, we all want them to win a couple rounds. It'd be great. They just don't quite grow on trees. Let's do that. But I think, as I said at the start there, they're projecting around 100 points right now. And when you lose bad, the sky is kind of falling, especially in the world of social media we live in today. So many, the vocal minority Habs fans, will shit on a bad period and just just lose their minds. So got to hold off here. And Ottawa is such a huge game, big division rival anyway on Tuesday. And
Chuck's back.
The Chuck's back. He played really well last night. They just blew it defensively in that third period. And Allmark looked so good early, and then he struggled in the third, and defensively, including Sanderson, he struggled in the third as well. And they gave that away and didn't even get anything out of it, not even a point. And against St. Louis, the way they've been this year, that's pretty bad. But a point right now loss right now doesn't look as bad. We all know the end of 82 games how freaking tight it is. So I don't want to give these points away, but yeah, I hope that they look for a couple of some help here in the lineup. We'll see how it goes, because some of it could be internal. Grant, you touched on it right at the start. Sammy Blake coming up. Texier going in for Davidson looked like a good thing, at first, but certainly 2 games here, it's a struggle. There's no doubt. I hope they don't take too much longer to make a decision on that. And then from there, because these guys that are hurt, no one's coming back, right? Still for weeks. So
that's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Hopefully Strubles isn't a bad one, because he seemed to be settling in there a little bit. And Engstrom, I mean, it's small sample size, and they've been shielding him a little bit, but I haven't really seen enough really to make a real good comment, other than I see what his numbers are in the A, and the guy looks like he's a blue chipper. So, I'm encouraged by that down the road. But for Montreal right now, yeah, it sucks with the injuries. Of course, we know it's part of the game, but I'll finish on that note and just say that for me, man, just make it a 5th year in a row improvement, make the playoffs again, and make some noise in that first round, despite the scores being close. You go out in 5 against Washington, and like to see a better first round, obviously this year. To win a round would be absolutely spectacular, I think, with this group. Despite the burgeoning talent, you still have some ingredients that come playoff time you're going to need, and I don't see all those ingredients there yet. So they could grow into it, some of these guys, and you're still going to massage your lineup. What you see right now, let's say they do make a final in the next 2-3 years or whatever, it's not going to be with this roster today. So it'll be interesting to see how things happen. But anyways, fellas, always great jumping on with you, and let's hope for a great Tuesday night, and have a great rest of the show and what's left of the weekend here, and everybody be well.
Okay, enjoy the game tonight, Liam. It's always a pleasure, my friend.
Likewise, guys. Take care. Okay. Rick, good to see you, Rick.
Thank you, Lee. Always a pleasure.
Okay, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Liam Maguire, folks. He's a gem.
Yeah, lucky to have him.
Yeah. Well, hope to win 2 or 3 games. No. 2 or 3 rounds. That's what I want. It'd be good for HabsCast, don't you think, Rick?
Summer HabsCast, right? We'd be in the gazebo in the back outside getting fresh air, 31 degrees.
No, instead having 2-hour post games and talking to all my friends here on live chat right into June. I can handle it.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. But no,
And
the Liam mentioned that that second goal and that two-man breakaway and all that, and that was one of the examples I wanted to bring up about Belzic's game today without the puck was just not very good on that play. Matheson finds a hole, he goes for it. Caulfield is with him. Suzuki is there in support, and Belzer goes low also to be an option, and it probably was not the time to do it. So you lose possession. Belzer is down low. It's a 2 on nobody. He doesn't cover. Play goes back. Uh, uh, Brock Nelson goes behind the net, comes back, and then Belzer is really high near the blue line, covering the point man, which was not the play at that point. Needed to come down a little bit, and so he gave all that wide open spot. So it's like 2 times in a 1 minute period where Belzer was really, really out of position, and that was a problem. And I think it happened a few times tonight where Belzer was just maybe not taking the game as well as he should without the puck. It was a bit disappointing, but you hopefully you chalk it up to a bad game, and he gets it back on Tuesday versus Ottawa at home.
well, he's no Slav on defensively on that top line anymore. They were top 3 in goal differential when those 3 were together. They were hoping that it seems like the lines, it's not as good defensively. Certainly the Kapanen line with Slav is good defensively. Cappy, been nice for him to bury one of those chances there that he had. He had the puck kind of bounced over his stick a couple times, but he played 16 minutes. Might have been the most that he's played all year, mind you. 418 of that shorthanded. Hey, good for him to get experience against the top team in the league in a defensive role and killing penalties. Like that's good. That's good for him going forward. Say, okay, this is what this is what you're going to be up against in the future. Hopefully in the future cup final at some point. But
right, and he did a good showing on the PK. I thought he was really solid. He was in the way. He was active. Really good stick position. Didn't chase. There was a tendency of some players to chase, and he didn't. Stayed disciplined positionally. I thought he did really well. I hope he showed Marty St. Louis a little something there tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And let's just have a quick look at here. BS, who had Carrier had 5 block shots tonight. Okay, well we'll give him that. Cappy wasn't great on faceoffs again tonight, but hey, rookie centers are gonna have those games. It's just the way it is. Suzuki 38%, 43% on draws tonight, so that wasn't great. 21 shots on net. Nobody with more than 2 shots on net tonight. Again, that's not what you want to see, right? Giveaways, Carrier 3 giveaways. So maybe that's why he had so many block shots. Give away the puck and then block the shot.
Yeah. Yeah, for Cappy too, it's unfortunate that one of the lost faceoffs led to I think the 3rd goal there that clicked off the faceoff. But again, as you said, it happens to veterans too. I mean, nobody goes at 70% game after game, right? It's tight no matter what, and he'll get better. Not like everything else, will get better.
And Burns had a clear lane to the, he was just right back from the. Nobody covered Burns right there in the shooting lane, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, he lost it, but could somebody have at least have gotten away? They didn't have it covered. They didn't have it very well covered, but nice to see. Nice to see Cappy, the Cappy line get another goal. Slav with another helper. I think second half Slav has kind of arrived a little early. I'd say this year. It's not going to be January before we see production from him. I think it's December. His December, I would suspect, is going to be fairly productive this year, unlike his first 3 years.
Right. And what about Hudson's shot too? We talked about that at the start of the year. We hope the shot gets a bit better. It's gotten a bit better, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, he's going to get more than 6 goals this year. I think he's probably on pace for 10 or 12. And,
Yeah.
you know, hey, what's the kid done all summer and all, you know, he worked on his shot all the time. So he's just, he's a workaholic. And I saw a blue or a teal. I always like to see that teal come up.
Oh,
Mark,
nice.
about time you donated some money, Mark. Geez, thank you. Okay, that little bit of sarcasm there. Thanks, Mark. Again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Let's get to a few comments here, Rick. How long you got?
Sure. Oh, maybe another 30 minutes.
Oh, perfect. Sounds good. Gallagher was done 3 years ago. Yeah. Well, he had a 20-goal season last year, and I don't agree with that. I think he bounced back good last year, but it may have been his last hurrah. And hey, he's 33 years old now. You know, he's making $6.5 million a year. New baby, married to this lady. How sorry can we feel? Hey, how sorry can we feel for Gallagher?
Yeah.
Like,
and as you said, he's 33 years old. The body's maybe 46, 47 with the way he plays too. So that's something to consider.
Yeah.
Though. But you know, I think I understand what Alex means in the sense of saying he was done 3 years ago. I think 3 years ago you kind of started to have to kind of shelter him a little bit, although he did score 20 goals last year. But he was still a very important contributor last year. So I think maybe saying he was done is a bit strong. Maybe you could say he was starting to show signs 3 years ago. Yes, I could see that.
He was starting to show signs 5 years ago. People have said he was done. Yeah. He was done so many times, and he bounced back. And last year he was great as far as I was concerned. So I can't agree with Alex that he was done 3 years ago. He was very good last year, and 20 goals. I'm sorry, the role he plays and the work ethic. He was very effective last year and helped them
get the $6 million is what's maybe making the judgment harsher on him than others.
But you kind of cut me off there. I just wanted to add like that. You know, I mean, Emma is. I've seen documentaries, and then you know, when I say he's lucky, like it's not just from a superficial standpoint. His wife is a fantastic human being. So
really,
you know, I'm not going to feel sorry for him because I think he's got. You know, I put it this way. I'd change places with him in a heartbeat. If you know, so I don't feel sorry for Gally if now he's on the downside and he's got to get traded, or he's got to start sitting out games. You know, life is good. There's a lot more to life than freaking playing hockey, right? He's got a child. He's got a wonderful wife, a wonderful life. So, you know, if it is the beginning of the end, it's been a long run, and it's been a great run. And you know, what a peach of a 6th round draft pick. Was he a 6th round, 5th or 6th round draft pick? So here's the Galley. I'm gonna.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if he's done. I mean, I have written him off before, and he's fooled us. So I hope it's not the case. But right now, it's leaning towards at least having to get him out of the lineup on occasion. These back-to-backs on Western swings and stuff, especially. He's the senior citizen. He's slowed down, obviously. Just don't play him every game, you know.
Absolutely.
I know it'll be a shot to his pride, but hey, you know, I think he'll understand. He knows there was a shot of him on the bench at one point, and he looked defeated. Like you could tell that he knew that he just wasn't there, right? And that hey, I don't know if you know the look of doubt on his face, I think, in exasperation. And it was sad to see because that guy has given his heart and soul to this club. And I will never have bad things to say about Brendan Gallagher.
Spot on. Absolutely, you're right.
Mark, another $5. Okay, another great show, guys. Gotta watch how much I donate, or my beer fund will suffer. Okay, well, somebody else donate for Mark so he doesn't have go broke here. Yeah, well, let's. Do I see Mr. Paul here? Okay, we know this guy. Cool shades, Paul. Colorado played 2 of the 3 games at home. Yes, and a 2-hour flight to Minneapolis. Exactly that. That's what I was trying to say to Chris Hansen. Like, comparing apples to oranges there. Having said that, it's clear Colorado's on a different level than the other 32 teams, let alone the Canadiens. Yeah, it does seem that way right now.
Oh yeah,
Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar. I mean, wow, hey.
Yeah.
Best defenseman, best forward right now in the league. It's nice when you have, that harkens back to the Robinson Lafleur days, right?
They're something else, and I thought they might struggle a little bit more this year because I was worried about their depth. But as long as their top 6 and their top 4 defensemen don't get injured, they're going to just steamroll through a bunch of teams.
Yeah. Oh, geez, Francois again. It's the same. Hey, I almost feel guilty because it's the same guys almost every night. But thank you, guys.
Thank you, Francois.
I'm covering Mark, but now someone needs to cover me. Hey, there you go. Yeah, sounds good, Francois. I appreciate it, buddy. Let's. Why don't we look at a couple of Francois since he's contributing here. Avalanche faceoffs, transition game, passing, goaltending, puck possession, etc. Way ahead of the Habs. Yeah, it was. Oh, look at that. Paul just sent us $10. Thank you, Paul. Are you still at your cottage? Did you listen to the game on shortwave radio there, buddy, or what? At zone entries, it was a total massacre. Yeah, no, they did. In the first period, if they'd have got a goal early there, it may have been a bit different story. I think Colorado still probably wins 4-2 or something, but yeah, it was a bit ugly tonight. Kaisanova, let's start with that textbook goalie interference challenge. Even Koliakovo. Yes, even Carlo, formerly Koliakovo, was on board with that, siding with the Habs on that one. Actually, I find Carlo's he's pretty good. I like his coverage. He's pretty fair. Saying Anderson pushed him before that call, saying Anderson pushed net off Banks. Well, that was a part, Garrett Rank, and of course it had to be Garrett, right? He comes out there and it's a goal because the net wasn't pushed off before the goal went in. Well, that wasn't what the problem was, Garrett. It's not a goal because the freaking Landeskog went right into and pushed the puck in the net. And then they even have the nerve later to change the goal to Landeskog. Like,
oh man,
why not? I'm expecting them to also give him an assist at this point, just to add assault injury, and to have a disciplinary hearing for Anderson for his push on Landeskog. That, why not do the trifecta on it, right? But I mean, at the very least, did they not see the interference? Whether they thought that Anderson had pushed him or not? Like, I have seen guys get pushed into the goalie and they call a goal off because it's interference, and then they look at it, the other team challenges, and if they want to say, okay, no, guy got pushed in, fine, then then it's nobody's gets a power play. The goal goes to the team that challenged. Right? The challenge is accepted. They get the goal, and that's fine. But to just completely ignore obvious interference, allow the goal, and come up with this, oh, well, the net was off the pit. That wasn't what the contention was. It was the freaking guy pushed Dobie right into the net. And then later they'd say, okay, well, now, and they waited about 10 minutes, okay, now let's get the goal to Landeskog too, right? Like, holy frig, come on. That was
even worse than that. For the fans, they didn't even know about it. So when Brock Nelson scored a second goal, a bunch of people threw their hats on the ice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What does Landeskog get the hats, or how's that work? Like, I'm covering Mark, but now someone. Oh, okay. Did you love showing the small amount of? Mark sent another 5. Oh, because Paul matched you, then you had to go one better. All right. Somebody has to send $20 now. Send it at Liam Maguire's. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
By the way, in Ottawa, if you're ever in Ottawa and you need a place to go have a pint, there is a bar named after Liam. They use his name, Liam Maguire's, and it's on Saint Laurent. So if you're coming from Montreal, it's like, East End. It's like the first exit, and there's a pretty cool sports bar called Liam Maguire's, because Liam is famous in Ottawa here. Like, the guy is a legend, and we're really lucky that we have him on. As I produce a show, and he comes on, some post games, but the man, he used to be on Dick Irvin's show on CTV, and Dick got wind of just how good Liam was in trivia, and this is going back 40 years. But I even remember him being on telecasts, the Habs telecasts. Dick Irvin would have him on, and grill him with trivia questions, and Liam just, there's nobody that could come close to Liam when it comes to trivia. He's got it like a photographic memory. He had it tested at one point. It was somewhere in the 90%. His the photographic memory, right? Wow. He's amazing. He's got his memory. He can talk. He knows dates, like the day of the week. Well, on a Wednesday in 1923, October 12th, Maurice Richard scored his. It's like, okay, Liam, he's a gem. He's one of a kind. So yes, I will go to Liam Maguire's. Actually, he's having a trivia night on Tuesday in Ottawa. So if you're watching in Ottawa and you want to go to a trivia night, Liam on Tuesday at Liam Maguire's, Celeron Boulevard. There, they just got free publicity from me. Charles, there's a new 6180. Habs had 5 rookies in the lineup, played 3 games in 4, and final game against the best team in the league. Also not easy to play at altitude. Well, I think somebody else might have mentioned that at the start of the telecast. I won't say who, but I'm not going to disagree with you since it's echoing my intro pretty much. Word for word. Thank you very much. Okay, can't disagree when somebody says. No,
it's a great point. It's a great point. Whoever brought it up is a very intelligent hockey man.
Yeah. If the Canadiens had lost 4-2 or something like that, I'd really dwell on that bad call. But safe to say that wasn't the difference in the game, even if it did kind of quell some momentum that the Canadiens seem to have. We're not going to blame that loss on the referees, that's for sure. The Canadiens were not in it. Galley's legs are gone and tank is empty, so all he has left is hurt. However, still a great leader. Well, that's the thing too, and last year, Rob Hudson at some point just told me about how much of a great influence he is in that locker room, right? For everybody else, just how, how many times he's bounced back from injuries and when you think he's done, he comes back. But the heart and soul that he puts into it, for his size, just how much drive and competitive fire he has. I'm still not writing him off. I think, we've been down this road before with him, and he's come back before. And since he's got a year and a half left on his contract, I don't think we're going to have much choice but to hope that he can rekindle some of that magic, and because he was good last year, it wasn't that long ago, and I don't know that it's the speed that worries you though, Rick. Right? Like it just seems like
Yeah, I know it is.
He's skating in quicksand sometimes, and
yeah.
that's what makes you wonder if he can do it anymore in an effective route. It might be that he needs, from here on in, he's a fourth liner. He sits out some nights, maybe on back to backs, like I say, and you just let him kind of ride it out. And still be the leader, still be part of the team, still be that influential guy that everyone looks up to, but maybe not playing a big role anymore. What do you think, Rick?
I dig too and it's kind of I'm going to say the same point you kind of said, but maybe in a different way, maybe to have the fans imagine it in a different way. Like, we love Gallagher for all his hard work and his intensity and the abuse he takes, and as fans we watch it from far and we're impressed, but just try to imagine what it's like in the locker room, right? When after a game and you see him take off his equipment and he's got the bruises and the broken bones and all the padding he has to wear, and how can you not look at that and be like in awe of the guy? So, and maybe Gally accepting that playing 62 or 60 games a year at a higher level might be more rewarding than playing every game and feeling that you're not being able to contribute as much as you like. And making him understand that as a player in this team, you have a role that during practice and talking with the players, that you're still important. There's ways of maybe having a player feel as important, but in a different way, or maybe in a more limited way, that works.
Yeah, for sure. Gonzo says Slav was a bright spot tonight. Yeah, he was good again tonight. I agree.
Yeah, he was.
Kevin Weinheimer, relax everyone, 2 out of 3 on the road. Let's go. Habs from Saskatchewan. Hey, thanks, Kevin. That's a new name. I agree.
Awesome.
Yeah, see, we need that Saskatchewan even balance there, playing man-to-man against a team like the Avs doesn't seem like the best idea to me. Hey, just a fan. Cristobal Huey's Canadian cousin John. Thank you, John. Yes, that is true. I don't know, and I didn't want to get into it too much with Liam here, but I didn't know that that Struble had an injury, and like they only mentioned it like about halfway through the third period, right? But I'm thinking, why the hell is Struble? Did they actually, healthy scratch Struble for Engstrom and leave Jackeye in there? But no, he had an injury, so that made more sense. But I would not have had Struble out of the lineup, a healthy scratch tonight, that's for sure. And I think it made a difference. But
for sure.
You know what? People are saying things about Stamkos. 4 points, I believe, in his last 2 games. I think O'Reilly has 5 in his last 2 games. I had a look at O'Reilly and Stamkos and did a video up that I'm going to put on my Patreon page tomorrow. I'm going to do a nice video on the 2 of them and what I think about the possibility of perhaps picking up one or the other. I think actually it was a bit of an eye-opener for me, and I think it'll probably surprise a few of my Patreon members when they see the video. But that's going to be actually, I might wait till Monday just so our show tomorrow gets top billing. I'll see. Maybe we'll do both there, but I'm going to put it up over the next 2 days for sure. And it was eye-opening for me, and I think you'll really enjoy this video and what I have to say. I'm not gonna say anything more about this for now. I'll let the cat out of the bag, but I think it was an eye opener, and anyone that's a Patreon member, well, you get an automatic email every time I put up a post on Patreon. Well, this will be one that you don't want to skip over when you see that email come in, say you know latest post, and this will be exclusive to Patreon, because when I do a video of NHL players, it gets restricted on YouTube. So yeah. This is a scouting report from me on NHL, on O'Reilly and Stamkos, and I'll be putting it up on my Patreon page. And by the way, if you are a you can subscribe to this YouTube channel, and if you do, you get just send me an email. And anyone that already has and hasn't done this yet, just I'm just putting it in here right now, but I will gift you a subscription to my Patreon page. Amazing. So if you're a YouTube a member of this channel, you will get access to my Patreon page. You'll have a free membership. So that's a $5. It's regular $5, and I believe it's $4 for a membership here. So it's kind of a a way around to pay a little less, right? So anyone that joins our channel here as a member gets these exclusive Patreon scouting videos that I put up there. So anyways, there's my Grant at HabsCast.ca. Did I spell that right? Yeah. And if you're already a member and you haven't got the, I need the email. I don't get the email when you become a member at YouTube channel. So just send me an email saying I'd like to, I'd like a free membership to your Patreon page, and I'll gift you. I gifted 4 yesterday with guys who got in touch. Even David Brown, who Dave, it's funny. He was my first YouTube member, I think. And he came on and had a little chat there, and he was a great guy. But he hardly ever posts on here on the live chat. Yet he came on live and had a chat too. And that's the other thing too, by the way. People, if people want to come on like Dave did and have a little chat with us, ask a couple of questions, make some comments, that's something that's available to YouTube channel members and Patreon members. So send me a friggin' email and say, yeah, Grant, I'd like to be on one of your podcasts or post game shows, and come on. This is a community. We're all in this together, right? Is that what Red Green used to say? We're all in this together. Keep your stick on the ice.
So much quality content by Grant, folks. It's you're lucky if you're a hockey fan to be a member, and you get a lot out of it, and we appreciate it too, of course. But my gosh, for so little money, you get so much. It's really impressive, Grant. Awesome stuff.
You're making me blush. Wolfie, Yes, I received it today, Grant. Thanks. Yeah, I saw that.
Awesome.
And by the way, I know when you've redeemed the gift coupon, so make sure you do it or it's insulting me. I know I sent one to Chris Stevenson and he never redeemed it. I said, "Oh yeah, okay, huh, fine. I'm not giving you anything free anymore, CJ." I know Rick did. Rick,
Yes, sir. Thanks very much. And it's just really amazing. Fantastic content.
thanks, buddy. Productions, Frederick Cullen. Hey, Frederick. Suzuki is my favorite player. Something is wrong. He must be seriously injured to play like this. Well, he was getting points up until tonight. I don't know if he was great today, but he had been producing, had he not?
Oh, wait a minute, too, though. I mean, McKinnon wasn't dominant today, and Suzuki's usually the one who goes up against these big players. So maybe he didn't play a great game offensively because he was, McKinnon was often on the other side of the ice when he was.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
McKinnon wasn't dominant tonight as much as usual. So Suzuki, maybe offensively, not the same thing, but I think defensively he was solid tonight. So maybe a little bit. Maybe that's another way of looking at it.
Yeah. Joel Kravitz. Any update on Jaden Struvel's upper body injury? No. They don't give you too much. Here's another one from he's saying Galley's not playing bad. He just had too much ice time. All right there, Frederick Cullen. I don't think we're watching the same games there because Suzuki hasn't been playing bad and Galley has been playing bad. So I'm going to respectfully disagree with both your points, but I appreciate you chiming in. Michael Ward, and of course Rick was more diplomatic, as he always is. Michael Ward did not see the game, but we got spanked. Yeah, you did not see the game. You are a one lucky son of a gun that you did not see that game. That's all I can say. Taylor Bay. I find it funny how people can bitch about this game. We're still in the rebuild. We actually held our own tonight. There was some bad puck luck, and Blackwood was fantastic. Dobie was just okay. Blackwood was better than Dobie. Who is their freaking goalie coach? I tweeted out today. Can we steal that guy? Because holy frig, they get Blackwood and Wedgwood, who were okay goalies, and now they're freaking superstars. Now all of a sudden, like, what's the deal? Wedgwood's probably gonna friggin' he could get a Vezina nomination the way he's going, and he's now been added to the list as he's certainly he's ahead of Montembeault as far as making the Canadian Olympic team. Would you have said that 2 years ago before he got traded to Colorado?
Not a chance. They had two different goaltenders and they traded both of them, I think, within 2 weeks of each other. Yeah. So not only could their goalie coach, it's pretty good evaluator of talent. That's really impressive. Right. They traded both goaltenders right away, and boom, let's get this done.
Yeah, let's get some wood. Let's get some wood in there. Wedgwood and friggin' Blackwood. The rest is timber for the rest of the league. Wolfie, $5, and that's for the beer. Don't tell anyone. I got another one here. What are you drinking there? I noticed you had.
Oh boy, I'm being a good boy tonight. I am having a 0.5 beer.
0.5.
Yeah, I usually drink 0.5 beer because I am obsessed with a good single malt Scotch. So if I'm going to drink alcohol, I better not have beer and Scotch. So beer is going to be the non-alcoholic stuff, and the Scotch is definitely going to be the stuff with the booze.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
That's sensitive.
Alex, I would take away Galley and put Blais. Well, I would take away Texier first, and put in Blais. But I think Blais should get again, he looked okay in the preseason, I thought. And if in fact he had 4 points in 8 games or 5 in Toronto, why not? Bring him up. could use his size and sandpaper, I think, in the bottom six.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think the issue that I have is that one of the problems is, like, I'm not saying they're similar players, but Texie and Veleno have kind of the same role, same weaknesses, right? Where they skate pretty well, but they don't really have any vision. They don't really complete a lot of plays. Both of them sticks die, plays die on their sticks. So, like, if you're moving one of them in or out of the lineup as an extra player, well, you're getting the same thing, right? Where if you bring in a Blair, let's say, or you keep up Davidson, whatever let's say it's Blair, right? Well, depending on your opponent, then you could play around. Like, I know Texas didn't have a great game tonight. Veleno was a little better, but then again, realistically, I don't know how Blair would have fared in this game just because of the speed. Blair's not a great skater. This would have been tough. But, a few weeks ago when they played against the Kings or Dallas, right? Well, maybe Veleno or Texier were not the best for that game, but this would have been a good game for Blair, where a lot of the game is in the corners, fighting for the puck. So you're giving yourself options as an extra player to better use your lineup, or, even, shelter players that need shelter against certain teams, because obviously your 12, 13, 14 forward, no matter who it is going to have limitations somewhere. I mean, that's why they're 12, 13, 14 forwards. So if you could have different types of players, well, then you could use them against the right opponent in the right situation, depending on your need.
Yeah, for sure. And somebody, Marion, my nanny could be in goal for the Avs and she'd look fine. Yeah. Well, I was going to preface that when I did say, mind you, that's behind the defense of McCarr and friggin' Taves and all that. But your nanny wouldn't have made that glove save that.
Nah, the first period Habs were pretty good.
I mean, I don't know your nanny, Marion, but I'm assuming that she wouldn't have had. I'm not sure if she's 6'4" or whatever, but I don't know if she'd have snagged a couple of those heaters that came in. And I mean, let's give the goalies a little. Wedgwood's on the Canadian Olympic squad radar, and a Vezina favorite at this point, not because the defense is good, but because he's playing very well. He's got a .920 save percentage.
Wow.
That doesn't, when you compare that to Monty or whatever, right? That tells you that difference. He's playing better, that he's a good goalie. So we have to give Wedgwood and Blackwood tonight some some credit for that. We're getting some new people in here. I like that. And I think Marion might be too. Edgley, curious what's 3 players nobody is talking about for third line the Habs could get. Saying third line because Cappy isn't moving. Can't see it anyways. Hey, I like you, Edgley. Yeah, Cappy's not going nowhere. You can come into our live chat anytime, my friend. You're in my good books. Yeah. Well, I'll reveal it all in my scouting report there that I did on O'Reilly and Stamkos. But yeah, I'll talk more about this later in the week. But I'm a little hush hush about all that right now. Let's just say it's a dandy. Marion, what about Anderson? Excuse me. Tonight wasn't a great game for Josh Anderson, but no. I think the last 10 games before that or so, I didn't mind his game. He had some good games. I think he had 4 or 5 goals too. So I think Anderson's been playing okay. Tonight he struggled a bit. There's going to be players that struggle in Colorado 3 games, 4 nights against the Colorado Avalanche, and
yeah,
I'm gonna give a pass to Josh Anderson because I think he's been pretty good the past month up until tonight. So one night, I don't put a lot of stock in that. What about you? Do you think he's been bad in general the last
No, well, I mean, again, it's always in relation to the contract, right? It's always going to be an issue where it's a big contract. You wish he was producing a little bit more for the money he's making. But put that aside, he hasn't been so bad generally. I think what the issue with this game in particular tonight is a lot of frustration. I think from what I could tell by Anderson tonight, he looked like he got a little bit fed up having some penalties that were deserved. I mean, there were hooking penalties, but it's not like he did it like he was being a lazy hook. He was just involved in the play, and it happened. And I think the game was getting away from him. I think he struggled a bit too because it was a very east-west creative, quick game. And Anderson's a good skater in a straight line, but he's not a very mobile skater, side to side, quick stops. That's not his strong point because of his big size and just the way he's built. So I think this game was tough on him, but
you don't think he's a dangler?
He's not a fancy pants guy, right?
I'm kidding. No, he's not.
But generally, I've been content with the way he's played, and I mean, he and Evans do well together. They help the team. I think they just need somebody with them that kind of plays their game, which is, go up and down the ice quick, finish your checks, play a cycle game, create turnovers that way. I think that's what they feel comfortable doing, and that's what they're looking on that line, and they haven't found in a while.
Yeah, that's fair. In his last 8 games, he has 4 goals. So, hey.
Okay. We're okay.
Yeah. If you get anything like that from him, I'm more than happy. But they need an Anderson in the lineup. I'm not taking Anderson out of the lineup.
No way. No, and maybe maybe I don't know. Maybe move him to right wing and have Jacky be on that line with Evans would be an interesting idea, right? Maybe that would work. I think they've been doing it for a while, and they did it again tonight. But the line was a little bit. Again, it wasn't just a tough opponent, and it wasn't up his alley, if you will. Maybe you had to play a bit too many minutes too, and it was a tough game. But if you have one bad game out of 5, I'm very comfortable with that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 4 goals in 8 games, with the other elements that he brings, like there's just the forechecking, the hitting, the size. He can also handle himself too, if need be. Although I'd like to see him get a little more pissed off. Has he been in a fight this year? I don't think so, eh?
No. I was waiting for it actually against Washington because he handled himself versus Wilson in the past well, and I thought this was a game where I kind of was hoping that Josh would have said, "Okay, let's do it again, bro." But he didn't. So I'd like to see him do that. Maybe there's an injury.
He almost seems to have to get in an ornery mood, and right now he's in his goal scoring mood, I guess, because he's got 4 goals in 8 games. But Josh is, I wouldn't take him out of the lineup.
No.
Not like Galley. There's a role for him, definitely in this lineup. I think.
Grant, I will have to let you go. We have somebody coming over, and as you can tell, Barney's letting us know that there's somebody coming over.
Oh, I can't even hear it. No, I can't even hear it.
Oh, you didn't hear it? Okay, well, he just let us know that we have visitors. So I will have to kind of leave a little early, folks. I'm sorry, but we'll be back on the air tomorrow, Grant.
Yeah, it's funny, Tommy. This was the first post right when it says it's going to be a dogfight to make the playoffs. So a little bit coincidental there. Barney barking and going to be a dogfight. Always a pleasure, Rick. Okay. Easy on the scotch tonight, okay?
Thank you very much, my friend.
Don't take the loss too hard. And when do you want to do that tomorrow? About 10 or?
Yeah, that's it. 10 o'clock as usual is our time, and we'll have another fun hockey talk.
Sounds good. Okay, we'll see you in the morning for our Sunday show. Don't miss it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much, Grant. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye, Rick. Rick Springhetti. What a great guy. Love Rick. Laval versus Lehigh Valley starting. Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up here pretty soon. Wouldn't mind getting a look at the Ryan Bacher. You guys want to go for a little while longer? let me know if you want to wrap it up right now, you want to go a little longer. Your wish is my command. You guys make this show possible, actually. Charles 6180, Grant, I live in Scotland, so there must have been a delay in the signal as I've never heard your comments. I never heard your comments. Oh, okay. Right on. Yeah, that must have had something to do with it. It was right at the very start. Yeah. Again, like, no, I don't think there's serious flaws. It's a freaking game. You know how many times every team in the league loses game 7. Edmonton got beat 8-1 the other night. Like, you can't overreact, as was said, Randy, by Liam at the outset, to one game. And especially when you consider 3 games in 4 nights, Western swing, altitude, Struble out, I think, was a big, that really hurt, you know. Bad enough Gooley's out, but now Struble, you really don't have a top 4 right now. They were trying to mix and match on the second unit, but that against Colorado, you don't have a top 4 defense. That, you know, you're scrambling. Yeah. Barry Bettman, Gary's cousin, Barry. That's what you get when you play 3 games in 4 nights. There you go. Yeah, Colorado played 3 and 4, but as was pointed out, it wasn't on the road. Traveling friggin' one end of the country to the other. Block shots is a funny stat because it often means you're bad at keeping or grabbing the puck. Yeah, I know. I bring it up. Well, like I said, 3 giveaways, 5 block shots. Probably all 3 giveaways were instantly followed by block shots. Habs were chasing the game. Charles 6180. Yeah, I agree. Dobson's defense has been suspect the last bit. Yeah. Oh, there've been a couple of instances, but Michael Whalen saying that Barron's looking like a top 4 D man. Yeah. On Nashville he is, but I don't think on a good team necessarily. But good for Barron. Net Cash was impressive today. He was totally controlling the old zone. Oh, he's a pretty skilled player. Oh, here's a new D. Cheen. Nice to see the new names in here, And by the way, if you're watching this on X, and apparently 600 people are, hop on over to the live chat on YouTube, HabsCast, YouTube HabsCast, or just type in HabsCast in Google, and boom, you'll find it right away. And I'll go for a little while longer here and then go watch the Laval game a bit. Oh, sorry I missed this earlier. There's a lot of live chat, and I appreciate it, folks. A lot of live chats here. Why do Habs continue to draft right Cs with no left Cs in the pipeline? Sometimes it's about need and not best player, especially when drafting in later rounds. You take the best player available. Like, am I upset that they took Hage, Jarosky, Papanicus? No, especially where they were drafted. It's, you collect assets. Draft picks are assets, and you take the best player available. Like, I've asked scouts, and I mean, I've scouted in the NHL myself, but when people were saying, oh, Why, why don't they take a right center or left center? Because he's not as good as the right center. If if you do your draft list and there's a clear difference between the right center and the left center for you, you take. I've never, and I don't think, and I asked several scouts, said, like, you ever drafted a center based on which way he shoots? And they all, to a man, say no. Like, and it's the same. It's even the same for the most part with defensemen, but especially center. Like a defense, it's a little like there's a maybe once in a while a team, well, especially if there's two players that are close on their list, then if they have 5 great right defensemen, they'll take the left defenseman instead if they're very close. But when it comes to centers, especially, not every pick ends up staying on your team, right? I mean, look at Las Vegas. Look at Vegas. You think they care whether players that they drafted in the first round were shot right or left? They traded every friggin' one of them for years. Their top pick they were assets, and they utilized them to pick up other players. To pick up Mark Stone, to pick up Jack Eichel, to pick up Pacioretty, right? They didn't care that which way the guy shot, because ultimately most of these guys never even ended up playing for their team. They ended up being used as assets to pick up players from other teams. So Justin Barron, we're just talking, somebody was talking about him, right-hand defenseman. He got traded for another right-hand defenseman that could help them now. And Montreal drafted a bunch of left defensemen. Well, they traded they traded Jordan Harris. They traded when there's an asset, when there's a surplus there, and you have more than enough who are NHL caliber, NHL ready, you eventually trade the ones that you keep, the ones that you think are the best and that are going to help you the most down the road, and you trade the others. That's why I think Adam Engstrom is most likely going to be dealt, especially now with, well, I said it before Matheson signed, but especially now that he has signed for 5 years. You've got Gooley, Hudson, and Hudson is going to move back to the left side when Reinbacher's ready. I'm positive of that. And you've got Matheson, Gooley, Hudson, and Struble, and Jack-Eye. So, Engstrom might ultimately be better than Jack-Eye. He might ultimately be better than Struble, although I don't know that that's a fact. He's never going to be as physical as Struble. But will he be better than Matheson, Gooley, or Hudson? I don't think so. So he's an asset. And even though they had a lot of left defensemen at the time and been drafting them, they drafted Struble, they drafted this, that. They drafted Hudson ahead of him in the same draft, I believe. Hey, he was a great pick. They didn't say, well, let's take a right defenseman here, even though we think Adam Engstrom, we've got him ranked 50th overall, and the right defenseman we've got ranked 80th overall. No, you take the guy you got 50th ranked overall, because they aren't all going to play on your team. So at the end of the day, an asset is an asset, and you're drafting assets. So that I hope that explains it to you. You can trade one of these guys for a left center. Like there's even, there's a possibility that Hage gets traded for Ryan O'Reilly, or, I certainly was last year championing for, if Horvat was ever available, that, Hage would be part of the deal to get Horvat, left center, tough, gritty, perfect fit, right? Yeah, you don't like to get rid of Hage, but hey, everyone else in the organization is a right center, and you've got Zurowski coming, you got Papanicus coming, so that's why you don't pay that much attention to which side the guy shoots, because ultimately what you want more than anything else is to draft the best player, because they're all assets. Some of them can be moved, and right now Montreal's playing with four right centers, and for the most part it hasn't been hurting them that much, as long as their face-off is above 50. It's certainly not as crucial as people thought going into the season. The fact that they didn't have any left centers. Okay, Edgley subscribed and liked. Let's show Grant the support. When did you subscribe? I didn't see that. Where did you subscribe, Edgley? Did you subscribe to the Patreon? I haven't got my inbox open. But as I explained there, if you subscribe through the YouTube channel, I'll gift you. I will gift you Okay. Joel Kravitz got in touch with me. Yeah. Why is Galley on the second power play? Yeah, I know. What's he got, 1 goal this year, and he's on the second power play? Yeah. Does they need a big body in front of the net, I guess? I don't know. They certainly, that's another thing too, you know, the fact that he's on the second power play, and he still only has 1 goal this year. It's problematic. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. Right-hand defensemen are twice as valuable as left-hand defensemen. If they're better. And as Lane Hudson has shown, sometimes you don't have to be a right-hand defenseman to play on the right side. Habs are small. They could be bigger. Edgley. Arbor needs to keep it simple. I feel like he tries too much. Needs to make shorter passes, separate the man from the puck, and hand it off. Yeah, that's not something I disagree with. Thanks, Grant, for replying to my comments. Hey, all the way from Scotland? Are you kidding me? What time is it there now? It's midnight, 12:21 in Scotland. Pleasure's all mine. Yeah, that's a good point, Tommy. And Drum Dude, got to run. Have to go roll one, do you, buddy? Have a good night. Okay, I think I better wrap this up. But as Mark says, please like and subscribe. It's not, just press the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps. It helps the algorithm, and of course, like this episode. if you're on X watching this, take the time, if you don't mind, to go to my YouTube channel, hit the like button, hit subscribe. It would be much appreciated, because most of the people are watching on X. Like, I'd say 60% of the people, so, or more, 60, 80%. So, oh, subscribed and liked. Oh, now I get it. You subscribed. Okay. Got it. Subscribed to YouTube. Thank you, my friend. Give Galley rest days. Gmofo. Gmof. Many hats. GM of many hats. Okay, now I get it. Give Galley rest days. This is a new name too. He has lost his legs in the back check and always seems a bit off balance in reaching. I have to agree with that. What happens to Galley and Anderson? Grant, would you resign Anderson short term? That's a good question. As long as it's not anywhere near the salary he's making right now, that's for sure. Hopefully he's happy with how much money Bergevin gave him. Serengovich. Yeah. I don't know that that's what they need right now, but would he even be available? Oh, here's a, yeah. Here's a new package. Gallagher, Captain, Reinbacher, and Hage, and go get Tage Thompson. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad you followed that up. Okay, thank you. You're a scary looking man, by the way. Pelaskan skeleton. If that's your real, that's your real face. Emil Shelbourne, Kiefer Sherwood, the guy that said, I'm going to knock you out of the Olympics, Slav. Yeah, I don't know how well that'd go over with Slav, but yeah, he's 6 foot. I really think that they need to, I think the goal scoring that we've seen from this year is a little bit of a, it's not really what we're going to see in the future from him. I don't mind Sherwood, but I think he's overachieving right now. And I didn't like that comment at Slav yelling at him, "Oh, knock you out of the Olympics." So I'd say pass. There's nobody on Vancouver Canucks that I think the Canadiens should go for right now. Okay, folks, I have to go eat dinner. It's getting cold. Have you watched the match, Michigan Hage, yesterday? No, not yet. Been a little busy getting together this, looking at this video, Stamkos and O'Reilly, and it was interesting. And I'm gonna post that. I might even post it later tonight. Okay, folks, I gotta go. Mark, thank you for the money as always. I really appreciate it. I will enjoy the Laval game, and definitely going to enjoy my meal from Costco. What is it? Mushrooms, chicken, and potatoes. It looks really good. So it's getting cold. Got to roll. Okay, folks. Tomorrow with Rick, we do the Habs prospect of the week and draft prospect of the week, and we'll talk some more about the Habs. So hope you can tune in tomorrow's show. Thank you, everybody that contributed money. As always, I really appreciate it. Thank you for everybody that subscribed to the YouTube channel, Edgley, and also anyone that presses like. Very much appreciated. 7:47. Well, I'm off like a jet. I'll stop when the number's at 7:47. Okay. Have a great evening, and look for the Habs to bounce back against Ottawa Tuesday. Bye for now.